All right, so today we're going to do a tutorial on webhooks. And this you'll find under the settings section here, and many of you might not have ever used something like this before. Essentially what webhooks are, a event will happen in Uscreen, such as maybe a user's added, they've logged in, they've made a purchase, and when those events happen, we have some data that you can send out of Uscreen into another software. Oftentimes it's pretty useful for connecting two pieces of software together. If other softwares have webhooks, they can often be used to push data into Uscreen. But webhooks from our end are sending data out of Uscreen somewhere else. And in this situation, I'm going to do an example using Zapier and Google Sheets. So we'll do a basic webhook. We're going to basically say when a user's created, let's add them to a spreadsheet automatically with maybe the date that they were added. So that's just a small example of what you can do. To start, we'll actually click on webhooks here, and we'll add a new webhook. And there's really only two fields here. There's this callback URL. This is where we're going to send the data. It's a specific URL, and I'll show you how to get that using Zapier. And then the event type. And so these are the events that are available to you. User created, user's been updated, access has been canceled, they've signed in. You could also use this to check activity histories. So if you are updating a spreadsheet, you'll know the last time someone signed in really easily using something like this. Now, if you want to know what actually data is sent over in each of these events, you can go to our Help Center, and we have a really nice webhooks article here. And just scroll down, and you'll see all the various webhooks here with the various data points that can be sent. So like when a user's updated, we can tell you that lifetime value spent, which is kind of cool. You can see the exact dollar amount there. Now we will go to Zapier here. And I've just created a new Zap, and let's just call this Uscreen user created. And the first step will be webhooks. And this is a paid Zap here, so it does require, I think, like a pro version or at least some paid version of Zapier. But if you're looking for data like this, it's well worth it. So we'll click on it, and then the trigger event will be to catch a hook. And we'll hit continue. And I showed you that field back in Uscreen where it has the URL. And so we can actually copy this, and then we're going to tell Uscreen to send data to this URL when a user is created. So that's kind of it for the Uscreen side. And we can leave the rest of this empty for now, and we'll just hit continue. You probably don't have to come back here, but some more advanced people might kind of know what to do with that. But I think we can leave that for now. And we'll hit test, and this will fail. They'll say there's nothing here. And yep, we couldn't find a request. So what we're going to do, we actually need to trigger this event. But to trigger it, we have to perform this event, user created. And so we go invite people. And just add a URL here or an email. And then when we go back and hit test, we should see that person that was just created. And you'll note that it broke out all the little data points into different field values here. So name, email, custom fields. I had how did you hear about us enabled under the settings. And because I was just adding them via the admin, there was no value there. Although when a user signs up for my site, that was one of the questions. And so data might actually be posted there. So let's hit continue. And make sure that you do get some test data there. Otherwise, you won't really be able to test that the Zap works. And then we're going to grab Google Sheets. And the thing we're looking for is create spreadsheet row. So I've got a sheet here, and I have three kind of titles in my columns: name, email, and date added. And so we'll create a spreadsheet row. We'll continue. And I think I just have to select the right account. And most of you should only have one drive option. The spreadsheet, obviously the title of the spreadsheet that you just created, usually it's near the top, which is good. And then worksheet, that's actually this sheet 1 down here. You can barely see that. But if you had different names there, you would see something different. Okay, and then it automatically pulls my columns here. Now say I've done this and I said, oh, I forgot to set up my columns. That's no problem. We can add a new one and then come back here and hit refresh fields. This is just functionality of how Zapier works. And now you'll see that there's a status option here. And so for the name, I'm just going to basically fill in the fields from the webhook. Here's my name. Here's the email and date added. Okay, so we don't have anything here for date, right? So what we can do, we can just search get current date Zapier. And oh, it's an article I've already viewed before. And so it kind of tells you right here actually what you can do right now. So you can insert the time your Zap runs into any action by using this Zap Meta Human Now. So let's actually just copy that. It's going to put it in a nice kind of like human readable format, which just means it's not going to be like this long string of numbers that has to be decoded. So we'll just paste it in there and it automatically grab that. It'll say no data, but that's okay. And so the idea being that, like, you know, when the webhook fires, it should fire immediately when someone's added, then this fires, and then it gets added to the spreadsheet. So that time should really only be, you know, a few seconds off when they're actually added. But we'll hit test, and then let's go check our spreadsheet, and look, we got the human readable time, April 6, 2021, 11:30 a.m. So it did it Eastern Standard Time for me. I can always change that. I got my email, everything's here. So it's set up really nicely. Everything works. I didn't put anything in the status field, and we might not for now. I might do another Zap using this webhook, the user updated. So user update, that has some more data in it. As you saw in the help article, there was like subscription status, lifetime spent, a couple other cool things. So this is where I could have that in here. And maybe eventually someone cancels, right? And I can put in something like cancellation date. And if they cancel, I would fill in this field. Otherwise, I would just leave it empty. That means that they've never canceled. So there's lots of little cool things like that that you can do with webhooks. So hopefully this gives you some good ideas, and happy Uscreening. So hopefully that gives you some good ideas of some cool things you can do with Zapier. And if you have any questions, please let us know.